As you know, Pope Francis has asked all of us to be part of a journey towards a synod on synodality, which will be conducted in phases, beginning already with a consultation of people throughout the world in their diocese, and then a bringing together of the syntheses developed in each diocese into a national synthesis, and then regional syntheses across different parts of the world, finally coming together in a gathering in Rome in October next year. So we've begun that process already. We've begun that journey, that journeying together, as he keeps reminding us, as a community of missionary disciples seeking to carry on the mission that Jesus entrusted to us. I'm very grateful for the many of you who contributed your views and your input into what we were able to gather here in the Sandhurst Diocese, and that's been brought together now in our diocesan synthesis, which is now available and you'll be able to get from our website. Many of the ideas and the views and the reflections that have been contributed by you in this consultation are consistent with the sort of reflections and the sort of thoughts that people expressed in the consultation a few years ago as we were beginning to prepare for the Plenary Council, which is on the way to its second assembly in a couple of months' time. So some of those included, as you'll be able to see in the document, an affirmation of the critical importance of our communities being welcoming communities, places in which everyone can find a place. An affirmation of the tremendous gifts and contribution that women in particular make in our church community, in our parishes, across our diocese, and how important it is for us to value that and to create structures in which it's possible for that contribution to be made and to flourish. In particular, there's a focus on questions of leadership and structures that we use in making decisions, and the way that they need to be ones which engage people broadly, ones which are collaborative and built on the sort of principles of co-responsibility that Pope Francis keeps talking about in relation to synodality, that everything that we do is characterised by and approached in the spirit of synodality. It's not just when we're coming to this particular synod in Rome next year. There was also a big emphasis, as there has been in our own diocese and more broadly in the Plenary Council, about how much people value and look for opportunities for formation in supporting the life that each of us lives as Christian disciples and the contribution that we make in our local communities, and an emphasis on how important it is for us to be flexible and creative in the ways that we make that formation available when we're aware of the distances and the challenges of people that live in a regional diocese like Sandhurst. And that's one of the things where a fortunate thing that we've gained out of the experience of lockdowns is a much greater facility with and experience in being able to engage with one another without necessarily having to gather physically. There's more options available for us in that space, and we need to get better at using them also for formation. A lot of people talked about their disappointments in different parts of their experience of their parishes and of the church more broadly. But very interestingly, though, that sense of disappointment was very often put by way of a yearning for what what people were hoping for, what we're hoping and longing for our church to be, for our communities to be. And that in itself says something about the great commitment and vision that that people in our diocese have of what it means to be part of the Catholic community here in the Sandhurst diocese. That's something that gives me great hope and encouragement, that desire and that commitment that that people have, which is expressed sometimes in terms of its disappointment when things fall short of that vision. As we move forward towards something of that vision, it's been great over the last few weeks to hear of some of the experiences of different parts of our diocese in the earlier videos that have been part of this series. So we heard from the parish of Echuca about some of the ways that they have adapted and ensured that it's possible for people to be involved in the community, particularly in liturgy, as they experimented with different ways of engaging with people during our various lockdowns, and then what they've learnt from that in terms of the way that they create opportunities for people to be involved in now that we're able to gather again as well. Then from Shepparton, we heard particularly a focus on young people in our communities and some of the ways that there are connections being made with young people, helping them to foster their faith and to grow as people of faith, making a contribution in our community through structures in their parish and in the school there at Notre Dame. And then finally in Wangaratta, we heard about some of the new structures that are being developed and explored in terms of decision making and leadership in the parishes there across Wangaratta. More broadly in the diocese, we've begun, about a month ago, we began a year of preparation and planning and consultation for setting up a Diocesan Pastoral Council, the Sandhurst Mission and Pastoral Council, which will be at a diocese level the primary vehicle which allows us to share something of these hopes, this vision, and to work together in collaboration to structures and strategies which help us to pursue them. I'm looking forward to that development happening and being in a position to set up that the first meetings of that council as we commission people to be part of it in the early part of next year, 2023. So thank you again for your contributions. Thank you for your continuing faithfulness in your parish communities as we continue this commitment, this to be missionary disciples, to be people who journey together on the path that Jesus leads us on.